In just 10 minutes, get 10 most valuable takeaways from the 3-hour-long conversation between Joe Rogan and Stanford professor Garry Nolan. Nolan reveals breakthroughs in cancer research, how artificial intelligence is transforming science, and why UAPs might hold clues about humanity's future. Stay till the end. You won't want to miss this. Takeaway 1. Cancer is a battle with the immune system. Garry Nolan told Joe Rogan that cancer is not just random bad cells. It is more like a sneaky trickster that hides from the immune system. Normally, your body finds and kills small clusters of dangerous cells every day. But sometimes the tumor learns how to switch off the alarms so the immune system ignores it. In some cases, the tumor even convinces the immune system to help it grow. Nolan himself has battled melanoma and kidney cancer, caused by a genetic mutation he was born with. He explained, literally every day, every person develops 5 cancer-like objects inside of their body, but the immune system shuts them down very quickly. For example, when someone spends too much time in the sun, ultraviolet light can damage their DNA. Most of the time, the immune system kills those damaged cells, but if one slips through, it can become skin cancer. Now let's move to the next takeaway. Takeaway 2. Immunotherapy has changed survival rates. Nolan explained that one of the most important advances in cancer treatment came from figuring out how to wake the immune system back up. In the past, advanced melanoma left people with only a 5% chance of survival. But scientist Jim Allison discovered that cancer cells use special signals to put the immune system to sleep. By blocking those signals, the immune system wakes up and attacks the tumor again. Nolan said this turned melanoma survival into 50%. That is a 10-fold improvement. He told Rogan that then created the whole immunotherapy field that the world is taking advantage of today. For example, a patient who only had months to live before can now live many more years because their own immune system has been reactivated. Now let's move to the next takeaway. Takeaway 3. Medicine is moving toward personalization. According to Nolan, one of the biggest lessons in modern medicine is that no 2 cancers are exactly alike. Even if 2 patients have melanoma, the way the disease grew and the mutations involved can be very different. That is why one drug may save one patient but do nothing for another. Nolan said, we have to personalize the medications in a way that gives the right drug to the right person. His lab developed tools that can measure dozens of proteins in a single sample. This lets scientists see the full path a disease takes as it develops. For example, in leukemia, his team can now track the disease from the earliest stem cell all the way to the full-blown cancer, which helps doctors choose treatments tailored to the exact stage and type of disease. Now let's move to the next takeaway. Takeaway 4. Data and AI are changing cancer research. Nolan told Rogan that the real challenge in science today is not a lack of information, but having too much. His lab can collect millions of data points from a single patient sample, but making sense of it is overwhelming. He said, our eureka moment about 2 years ago was artificial intelligence. Nolan's team created an AI system that acts like a scientist in a box. He can feed it raw data and ask a plain question, and the AI generates hypotheses and suggests experiments. Work that used to take months by graduate students now takes just hours. For example, instead of manually connecting scattered data about dozens of immune cells, the AI can draw a complete network and highlight which ones are most important. Now let's move to the next takeaway. Takeaway 5. AI helps reveal hidden opportunities. Nolan shared with Rogan that AI has already uncovered things in his lab that humans alone would have missed. One example is something called tertiary lymphoid structures. These are little groups of immune cells that sometimes form inside tumors. Patients with more of these structures often survive longer. By analyzing many samples with AI, Nolan's team discovered which cell types are responsible for starting these clusters. That means doctors could design treatments to encourage the body to build more of them. Nolan said, the more of those you see in a tumor, the better will be your outcome as a patient. For example, a therapy in the future could deliver a harmless virus into a tumor that triggers these clusters to grow, giving the patient's immune system a better chance at fighting back. We're halfway through the video. Thanks for sticking with us. If you're enjoying it, hit the thumbs up and share it in your WhatsApp groups. If you'd like to support us, please tap the thanks button below. It helps us keep making great content. Drop a comment and don't forget to hit subscribe for more. Now let's continue with the video. Takeaway 6. AI may become a partner in thought. The conversation then shifted to the future of AI beyond medicine. Nolan said he does not just see AI as a tool, but as something that could work alongside human thinking. He imagined wearing a kind of net over his head that connects directly to AI. Instead of typing or speaking, you could think a question, and the AI would answer instantly, even feeding information back into your brain. Nolan joked, "I would love to have somebody that I can talk to endlessly about just what it is that I'm interested in, as opposed to having to deal with small talk at a party." For example, a scientist could think about a complex problem in genetics and immediately see a solution the AI generates without ever picking up a book or a laptop. Now let's move to the next takeaway. Takeaway 7. Society could enter a post-scarcity era. Joe Rogan and Garry Nolan discussed how AI could change society far beyond science. Nolan said humans often behave corruptly because we live in a scarcity society where resources are limited and tightly controlled. If AI makes production so efficient that resources become abundant, we may enter a post-scarcity world where there is less reason for corruption. Rogan added that this could expose the vampires who profit today by keeping resources scarce. Nolan admitted that job loss from automation is a huge danger and said, "I am happy that I am 64 years old, so I will not have to deal with some of the problems that you are going to have to deal with." For example, if AI takes over trucking, legal work, and factory jobs, millions may lose work, and governments may have no choice but to consider universal basic income. Now let's move to the next takeaway. Takeaway 8. UAPs may be future human technology. Later in the podcast, Rogan asked Nolan about UAPs, which are often called UFOs. Nolan suggested a very different way to think about them. He said if humans travel the galaxy in the distant future, we will not go as fragile biological bodies. We will likely send AI-powered avatars or probes. These would be built to survive deep space and might even take on appearances that are partly familiar to the locals they meet. Nolan said, "To the extent that UAP are here today, it is somebody else's civilization's version of just this. For example, if a future human probe visited another planet, it might present itself in a form that looks partly human, but also clearly alien, so that communication can begin without total confusion." Now let's move to the next takeaway. Takeaway 9. Personal stories often reveal hidden truths. Nolan explained how he became directly involved in the UFO community when he studied the Atacama skeleton, a tiny body discovered in Chile that many believed was proof of aliens. Nolan used DNA sequencing and proved it was a human girl with rare genetic mutations that made her bones look unusual. He said, "The UFO community hated me because I had disproven that as not being a baby and not being an alien." The case showed that science can destroy myths, but it also uncovers real human stories hidden beneath them. For example, instead of being a visitor from space, the Atacama skeleton turned out to be a tragic reminder of how genetic disorders can deeply affect human development. Now let's move to the last takeaway. Takeaway 10. Humanity may evolve into a hive mind. The podcast closed with a big idea about where humanity might be heading. Nolan and Rogan agreed that merging with technology may be unavoidable. Nolan pointed out that smartphones already make us partial cyborgs because they extend our memory and knowledge. He predicted a future where people use a universal AI language through neural implants. This could eliminate language barriers and create instant understanding across the world. Rogan said, "I think that is ultimately the evolution of human beings, and we become a hive mind." For example, in such a future, a farmer in India and a doctor in Brazil could share thoughts instantly without speaking a single word, because both would be connected to the same network of human and AI consciousness. Here is a brief introduction about Garry Nolan. Garry Nolan is a professor of pathology at Stanford University School of Medicine and an expert in immunology and cancer biology. He is also the executive director of the board of the Soul Foundation, a research center focused on UAP studies. Thank you for watching. If you'd like to support this channel, hit the thanks button below. It really helps us keep going. If you enjoyed this summary, please leave a like and share it in your WhatsApp groups. To join discussion about this video, drop a comment below. And for more videos like this, hit the subscribe button below.